All right, let's jump straight into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a seriously layered mystery found in the novel Sad But True. We're going to map out this unbelievable escalation, tracking exactly how a perfectly ordinary slice-of-life story just spirals into a massive, highly dangerous global criminal conspiracy. It is a wild ride. Right off the bat, the story hits us with this chilling, translated Japanese message found on a hidden USB. It reads, "Ha-yoon, please. This is just the beginning." Now, for context, Ha-yoon is our protagonist's mother, so instantly this tells us whoever wrote this trusts her mom implicitly, but they are also deeply entrenched in something really sinister. It completely shatters any illusion of safety and tells us right away this story is going to get very dark very fast. Part 1. The Ordinary World, a stark contrast to the impending danger. To really get the impact of that danger, we have to look at the two radically different lives driving this narrative. On one hand, you've got Jin. She's 27, a super passionate photographer living in South Korea. She bravely manages type 1 diabetes every day. She's prepping for this big, exciting job interview at a company called BPA, and she has these deep, grounding bonds with her sister Do-yoon and her best friend Jung-ho. But then you contrast that with her mother, Ha-eun. Distant, secretive. Supposedly she's traveling the world just to sell her poetry books, but in reality, she's leaving behind cryptic warnings and hidden files. The entire tension of this story is born right in that gap, between Jin's wholesome, everyday reality and her mother's deeply hidden, dangerous past. Part 2. The clues emerge. Enter the mysterious USB drive. So imagine finding a rogue USB drive covertly plugged into your most prized possession. That ordinary world we just talked about, it absolutely shatters when Jin finds this drive hooked up to her beloved camera, a camera her mother gave her years ago. And it's not just a blank drive. It holds a video from 2014 of an unidentified man explicitly warning her mother about crimes committed by this shadowy organization called CAT. Let's play detective for a second and look at how Jin brilliantly breaks down the first text clue from that USB. At first glance, all UN, Auden urine hint the lan, is total gibberish. Actually, scratch that. It looks like a terrible typo, right? But Jin doesn't panic. She unscrambles it. She realizes those first two words are her mother's name, Ha-yoon. From there, the message becomes terrifyingly clear. Ha-yoon, don't ruin the plan. I mean, imagine finding that secretly uploaded to your personal device. That is a targeted, deliberate threat. The mystery deepens when Jin searches for answers in her mom's old studio. Digging through her diaries, she finds a cipher key based entirely on the number 1. Ha-eun loved the number 1, so she built this, honestly, kind of bizarre warning system out of it. 3 ones, that means you are going to be lucky. 5 ones means life is a rush. But a massive block of 1s, her diary explicitly states that means we are in danger. She even had a subcode. The sequence 1, 2, 3 represented Jin, Ha-eun, and Jin's father. Okay, keeping that code in mind, imagine the absolute dread when Jin looks back at the digital text file on the USB and just sees this, a massive, unending wall of 1s. The translation instantly clicks. This isn't some keyboard error or a corrupt file. Her mother wrote this to signal that their entire family is in grave, immediate danger. It's real, and it involves all of them. Then the other shoe drops, and it's worse than Jin ever thought. Another translated Japanese document on the USB finally defines our antagonist organization, CAT, which stands for Creative Advancements in Technology. But listen, they aren't some legitimate tech startup. They are a massive criminal agency masquerading as one, entirely dedicated to stealing vast government funds, specifically targeting South Korea. And the worst part? The document confirms the unthinkable. Jin's mother wasn't just a bystander, she was an active, trusted part of this massive global theft ring. Part 3. Danger in Jeju. The threat goes physical. Jin tries to process all this psychological weight by taking a vacation to Jeju Island with her sister and her best friend Jung-ho, but things escalate incredibly fast. Just look at this timeline. At 3 p.m., she has this eerie encounter with a stranger named Baek Ha-young at a coffee shop. He already knows her name, her age, her favorite drink. Fast forward to 4 p.m., he corners her in an alley, pulls a gun, and they get into a physical fight where Jin miraculously kicks the weapon away and escapes. But the true horror hits the next morning at 5:37 a.m. Baek Ha-young bypasses Jin entirely and violently attacks Jung-ho with a knife right in his hotel room. The digital ghost from the USB is suddenly drawing real blood. Now, what makes this guy so uniquely terrifying is what I call the K-drama contrast.
On the surface, Baekhyun looks totally harmless. He looks like a trendy 20-year-old pop idol with cute pink hair. He flirts, he smiles, he buys Jin a matcha latte. But the dark thriller reality is that he is a ruthless, lethal CAT operative armed with a gun and a knife, completely willing to stab an innocent man at dawn just to send a message. The deception of appearances is a huge recurring theme in the story.
To really grasp the stakes here, listen to the exact ultimatum Beckheim gives her in that alleyway. He pulls his gun and says, "Tell me where is that USB and I'll let you live in peace." No more guessing games. This proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that CAT knows she has the leaked evidence of their crimes. There is no going back to her ordinary life now. She is officially a high-value target. As if literal assassins weren't enough, Jin starts connecting the dots using her mother's published poetry book, realizing Ha-yeon has been predicting this exact threat in plain sight. I mean, the book is literally titled, "My Life is in Danger, but I'm Not in Danger." The protagonist? A 27-year-old named Minju, which, incredibly, is the exact fake name Jin instinctively gave Baekhyun at the cafe to trick him. Plus, the cover features these entirely white flowers, which is a stark divergence from Ha-yeon's favorite color, crimson red. On top of that, online articles link the book's themes directly to Ha-yeon's miserable marriage and her time working at CAT. She wasn't just writing fiction, you guys. She was leaving a public breadcrumb trail for her daughter.
Part 4. Infiltrating the enemy. Jin goes on the offensive. Because with her best friend injured and her family targeted, Jin refuses to be a passive victim anymore. And this number right here changes the whole game. 24. A quick Google Maps search reveals a mind-blowing truth. The actual headquarters for the CAT syndicate isn't in Japan, or Seoul, or halfway across the globe. It is located right there in Jeju, just a 24-minute drive away. The enemy has been in her backyard this entire time.
So what does Jin do? She makes a series of incredibly brave, frankly badass moves. First, she leaves her sister behind to care for Jang-ho. Second, she keeps the truth about CAT a complete secret from them so they don't become bigger targets. Then, she tries to get a ride, but local taxi drivers flat out refuse to take her to this restricted location. But she doesn't let that stop her. She rents a car and drives into the isolated woods entirely alone to face the syndicate. Which brings us to the ultimate question. As she hides her car and approaches this old, isolated syndicate building on foot, what on earth is Jin going to find inside? She's a 27-year-old photographer walking right through the front door of a global criminal syndicate's den. Is she going to uncover the full truth, or is she walking directly into a fatal trap? If this mystery hooked you, you absolutely have to dive into the source material to find out what happens next. Thanks for joining me for this explanation, and remember, sometimes the most dangerous secrets are hiding right in your own family tree. Catch you next time.